So we have to fight for the future that we know is possible. A future of long-term, broadly shared prosperity, where everyone gets a fair chance at some security and some time off, not just the CEOs or the top 1%. We have to fight to tell the truth that America's largest global corporations are swimming in cash. CEOs have never had it better. See, America isn't poor. We're still the richest nation on earth with the strongest GDP in the world. It's just that very, very few of us are seeing any of that wealth. In the last 20 years, 100% of all the income gains in this country have gone to the top 10%. In the last 20 years, 56% of all the income gains have gone to the top 1%. In the last 20 years, 30% of all the income gains have gone to the top 1/10 of 1%. That means one person in 1,000 has taken 30% of all the income gains. We have to tell the truth about our economic crisis, that it's not the result of a force of nature or an act of God. Our economy was ruined by the actions and decisions of some of the biggest players in our financial system. And it can happen again. And it will happen again if they continue to make the same choices again and again. See, we have to connect the dots up to show how unemployment feeds foreclosures, how foreclosures weaken banks, and how it all leads to more layoffs, feeding the entire ugly, destructive cycle all over again. So what am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to fight cheap patriotism with real, deep patriotism. I'm asking you to be prepared to do the hard work, to engage, to talk to listen to all of our members year-round about their needs and about their interests. We have to be prepared to listen to and continue to stand together with workers who have never had the benefit of union membership. We got to reach out to our communities to be real, committed, engaged members of our communities, building partnerships all the time, and not when it's just our back against the wall. See, our communities are struggling too, and our concerns are the same. We don't have to look any further than our own backyards to see that. We have to ask ourselves if we're ready to get serious about what young workers are up against today, and then embrace them fully in our unions. We have to commit to meeting the needs of today's workforce and understand what work really looks like for them right now. And we have to ask ourselves what organizing means now and in the future, and how we'll help workers organize to rebuild our labor movement until we're large enough and strong enough to once again set national standards with our standards. See, we have to redefine unions for today's generation and define unions for the next generation. And that's a massive responsibility. That's one that we absolutely must take on. See, brothers and sisters, we have a long way to go before we can fix our broken trade laws and ensure that every working man and working woman in America has the freedom to form a union and to bargain for a better life. How do we rebuild America's manufacturing might? Will we even be able to keep Avondale open for 5 more years? Will we create and keep enough good jobs to support working families in our communities and our cities and our states? Those are hard questions. Hard questions that we have to be prepared to stand up against and fight for. But let me tell you something. I can't think of a time that I would rather be a labor leader in the American labor movement. Because on the outside of all of those challenges, there's great opportunity for us. And I can't think of anyone I'd rather be in the movement with than all of you. You see, brothers and sisters, the future of working people, the essence of our American democracy is on the line. This is a battle for the moral character of our country, a battle for the middle class, a battle that will decide the direction that we take for the next 2 or 3 generations. It'll decide what happens to our children and their children and their children. And I got to tell you, there's no way forward except for us to go through the fire. And we're going to go there together. We're going to walk through the fire side by side. And it'll be hard. And we'll get tested. But I know we're going to get to the other side. And that fight is going to make us much stronger. You see, brothers and sisters, this is our time. This is our moment. This is the time for the working class to stand up and demand dignity and a fair share of what we produce, and say to everyone out there that we won't be denied until we get that fair share and create the jobs that will open up opportunity for our kids and their kids. That's when we'll be able to take a bit of a rest. So here's a question for you. Are you ready to fight for good jobs? Are you ready to fight from the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean, from the Pacific to the Gulf of Mexico, and everywhere in between? Are you ready for that fight? Well, it's going to take all of us, because we're only going to be able to do it together. All of us. Public sector and private sector, progressives and conservatives. And we don't have to agree all the time. Our differences are what makes us stronger. We don't have to think alike to respect one another and to work hard and to work well together. But when it comes to our rights and our freedom, when it comes to ruthless politicians who want to hurt working people, then we've got to be united and in lockstep solidarity with no dissent whatsoever. We need to feel it right here in our hearts for one another. You see, brothers and sisters, the challenges that we face are extraordinary. But we have to face them if we want a future that I know is possible. A future of long-term, broad shared prosperity. A future where CEOs aren't the only ones that can make ends meet. A future where every single working person in America has the fundamental right to be part of the labor movement. A future where every single worker has the fundamental right to be treated with dignity, to put in a hard, honest day's work, and be rewarded fairly for it, to have the health care and the retirement security we need, and the opportunity to see our children a little better off than we are. That's the American dream, and if we want it, we have to work for it. We have to stand for it. We have to fight for it together to bring out the best in America and to bring out the best in ourselves and each other. And we have to let each other know. We have to let everybody know that we will never, ever, ever back down or back up. This is our country. We build it. We make it run. We repair it. We fix it. And we're taking it back for the workers of this country and our kids and their kids. I promise you that. God bless you.